right. It's been a while since we've been here, so if you want any free rocks for the live chat, you got to start typing into the live chat now to get them. I've already got Streamlabs initiated. Free rocks for emojis. Now, I've got Nate the lawyer with me, and we're going to talk about something pretty serious, and it's why we came here live to UNIRocktv. There are two opposing viewpoints right now on a very serious issue. So we're going to try to treat it as serious as we can and be cool about this, but I'm going to go ahead and warn you, it doesn't look good for what's going on with this issue. But let me go ahead and bring Nate in now, and we'll get this pumping, because we haven't been live over on this channel in a minute. Nate, can you hear me okay?
Yo, what's going on?
Hey.
How you doing, bro?
Oh, great, man. So glad to have you. Your channel's just been knocking it out of the park lately, man. You're doing awesome.
Hey, Matt, thanks again. You know, it's this YouTube stuff. Sometimes it's hit, sometimes it's missed, but I've been hitting a little lately, so I'm happy.
Oh, dude, knocking it out of the park. Okay, so what we've got tonight, let's just jump right into it.
Damn,
What's
I
his
don't even
name?
get a chance to warm up, huh?
I'm Phil DeFranco tonight. Because, look, I did this video a few weeks ago. You did a video on the same subject. It was about these YouTubers that faked a $10,000 fundraiser that right now is being investigated to some extent. Whether it's just now initiating, whether they're making progress, I don't know. And then this kind of cloud is over them because they've ran not just a few fundraisers, they've ran an insane amount. We're talking like 30 or 40 that are linked to this small group of people. And now we've got several fundraisers where people are just finding out that they didn't do what they said they were going to do on it. And you had a crazy day today involving this situation, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I'll just start from the beginning. So yesterday, some questions had come up with the fundraiser.
Yeah.
There were some whispers that the fundraiser may be illegitimate, the one I believe the cancer fundraiser, but there was really nothing serious there. You know what I'm saying? It was just kind of like, first it was like, something may be wrong with it. But then I remember you had rung the bell. You said there were some issues with it too. So it was kind of like, who really knows?
Yeah.
I got involved after a document came out just to verify on the actual GoFundMe to verify. It was the receipt. It was invoice payments.
Yes.
So that when that invoice came out, that kind of spurred all the events of the day, because that invoice, when it first came out, we said, okay, well, who's going to question a cancer patient? She gave us an invoice. She said it's for cancer. Who's going to question it? But closer look of the invoice, so that there happened to be a lot of issues with the invoice itself. I don't know if you could pull up the invoice or whatever, but that invoice just had a lot of issues.
I definitely can. But so basically, so everybody gets in your shoes here. Everybody on the internet kind of said, they breathed a sigh of relief, right? They were oh, thank goodness. She actually shared something that shows she paid what she said she did, because this last fundraiser being fraudulent casts doubt on any fundraiser that these certain people are involved with, right? They stole $10,000, and none of them have even stepped up to call out the person for stealing the $10,000 or to look at the evidence of others that were involved. So it seemed like there was a community cover-up. Whether you believe that or not, for this invoice, people stand up and say, that's wrong, that's fake, that's wrong. It's a big issue, right? I mean, you could start looking at it like, these guys, are they lying to us? Like, did they do this with two now? So just to kind of roll people in. Also, mods, if you don't mind, get me that invoice in the bottom of general, and I'll pull it on the screen.
It's a current live stream. Check current live stream. Right.
Okay, yeah, I'll head there. Here we go. Bottom of current live stream. But go ahead, Nate. So what happened after the fact?
So I got to give the FBI credit. The FBI. We got to call our people. So the FBI, they started finding some things. They found the ilyamoon versus the ilyamoon stuff. There was a fundraiser, someone named ilyamoon, a month before this fundraiser for cancer. Now that fundraiser for ilyamoon happened to be for the same type of surgery, in the same state, around the same time, for the same amount. Right? That was the ilyamoon. So we were like, yo, it doesn't make sense. Ilyamoon 1 month before, ilyamoon the next month, and now the next month it turns into cancer. So we had a lot of stuff going on. Go ahead.
Exactly. And let me elaborate on this too, just so making sure everybody's, picking up here on my thought process, because this is damning, right? Here's what everybody saw. They see this person in the community around the people who stole the $10,000 with that fundraiser, and she comes out and says, I have cancer, and they see this and they say, well, who cares about any petty drama? This is bad. So, and I will get to the live chats, guys. Thank you, Trio. We'll get there. But they see this and they're like, okay, well, she's got cancer. Nobody's going to question this fundraiser. Nobody's going to say anything. And it kind of sat there. But then people find out that a month before this fundraiser, another fundraiser was made that is exactly like it, except the person's name isn't ilyamoon. The person's name is ilyamoon. And in this cancer that she has is like exactly something like what this person is saying they needed done. Basically, this stuff needing done, if you elevated this to a cancer level, it would be this. So either one of two things happened. Either this is just a completely different person and the internet created a coincidence of all these 10 things being exactly like this one, which didn't happen. That's just too many coincidences. Or this person went to the internet to try and get their teeth bill, pay for overdue teeth bills that they didn't pay. They've got a bunch of bills stacked up and they want you to pay for those bills. They didn't get any money for this one, obviously, because nobody wants to help you pay for old bills. So then it looked like she recreated a month later that she had cancer, and then, it took off. Okay, so sorry to interrupt you, Nate, but I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, no. That's perfect. No, that was perfect. That was perfect. So after that all came to the invoice came out. And the invoice is on the first GoFundMe. Now, with the invoice came out, there were some issues with the invoice, and one of the most glaring issues was invoice number. Whoever did this seemed to have duplicated the invoice number, and that duplication of the invoice number just doesn't make sense, right? Each time you pay off an invoice, it generates a new invoice number. So that was one of the big issues of saying, well, hold on, this doesn't make this is ringing some alarm bells here. Because this seems to be like more of a clerical error, and now all the systems are electronic, so you won't have duplicate invoices, like somebody actually handwriting them in. So that's what you see here on the red mark. You see the invoices that are identical. So that means that there's something wrong with this invoice, right? You're not supposed to have this.
Yeah, and this is all wrong too. Look at this: amount due $1,866. Insurance only is covering $600. Patient has to give $1,258. But down here, the amount due is $1,044. The insurance covered $550 less than it did here. Typically, insurance covers a percentage. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's and then even on the top part, the logo and stuff. Like when it's some other invoices, they use a different logo. And so it was just like there was a lot of stuff that was up with this. So being who I am, we said, well, listen, we have the receipts. We know where it came from. Let's just ask somebody, who can we ask to see if this receipt from this hospital is legit?
Yeah.
Ask the goddamn people who make the receipts, right?
Ask the hospital. Makes sense.
Ask the people who make the receipts. So this morning, we said, call the hospital. And that's where you get into my investigation log. But we call the hospital and we just asked, hey, listen, the GoFundMe person says they came here for cancer treatment. They've shown us this receipt that said they paid you guys for this treatment. We don't want to know anything about the patient. We just want to know if this receipt is legit.
Yeah.
That's it. If this
no personal info, no nothing. Don't tell us shit. Is this real or is this fake? Yeah.
You can give us an invoice that is blank, right? So we can compare. But here's the invoice. So I faxed this invoice over and just said, tell us if it's real. Right. If you say it's real, we believe it. Right.
It's real.
It's real. But to add something. So we sent it and they couldn't verify anything. They said the invoice numbers didn't look right. The confirmation numbers are off. It's just nothing. They can't. There's nothing in the system. So then sent me to call another because this was the individual hospital's billing. So then the hospital's part of a bigger hospital system. So they said, well, call them. They may have, this bit might be at the wrong hospital.
An error, maybe check.
It might be at another hospital.
Yeah.
So we went and we checked the other hospitals, right? We're like, all right, so the other hospitals couldn't check this. They said, well, fortunately, since you don't have either a patient first and last name and birthday or the patient ID number, then we can't really verify this, right? Because we just can't. So then the woman said, well, listen, I'll at least try to verify this form. Read off the invoice number. I started reading off the invoice number, 7, 8, and she would stop. She was like, those aren't our invoice numbers. We do not use those numbers. So we didn't even get through the whole numbers. Then I was trying to read some of the confirmation number. We didn't get through. So she knew based on like the first 2 or 3 numbers from the invoice.
No way.
Invoice wasn't good.
So again, like 2 numbers in, she's like,
yeah,
nope.
Nah, it's not our invoice number.
She noped you.
Yeah, right there. So at that point, it was kind of like, all right, well, you can't tell me this is true. So then we I went back to the other side and said, well, hey, listen, this is what they're telling us. They're telling us this is, we need to find out who this person, either we need her name or we need the patient ID. And then the hospital said, well, listen, we believe this is not really on the up and up. So if they give you the patient ID, you're looking for this. You're looking for, it's going to start with the letter, a couple of numbers. They gave me the formula, this letter, a number, this. They told me what the letters meant and how to do the numbers. So I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
because
like, all this means something. This isn't just random. Everything on here means something. Yeah.
So all the numbers and the sequence of the numbers meant something.
Yeah.
So then the other side. So then we found out the name. What the person's name was. Then we were able to call back and say, well, listen,
now you found that out by literally talking to them, though. You did it on the up and up. Everything was done on the up and up the whole time.
Yes. Oh yeah, I was talking to somebody on the other side.
Yeah,
we got the name confirmed from 2 different sources. So it was like, So this is the name, this is the person, and this is the verification. So then after we got that, got the birthday verified too, then we took it back and we said again, we took them back this form and said, hey, listen, this is the person's name. Only thing we want to know is this form correct? So they checked. So then we went to the hospital first because obviously the person, we knew exactly which hospital the person said they went to for the treatment. This bill came from a specific hospital. We went to that hospital, to that business office, gave them this receipt and said, is this receipt real? And here's the person's name. And they said, the person is not in our system. Period.
And how sure?
Not in our system.
Like super sure.
Person
like
was
they
not,
actually,
person's not in the system. Now I sent them the receipt. I sent them the GoFundMe link. I sent them everything, right? Said this person is not in our system. Okay. So then I said, well, let me go to the overall joint, right? To the hospital system. They said, well, we got 15 of these names in our system. No one with that date and no one with that date. So that birthday, this name doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist at the hospital she said she went to. So all those 15 other people went to hospitals all around the state. Nobody went to the hospital she happened to go, which is funny, by the way, right? Because the one hospital she chose is the one hospital that no one with that name went to.
So if she would have picked any other hospital in the state, they would have said, well, we've got one. Yeah.
We got one.
Wow.
So then, this point in time, now I'm going to bring up my boy Fight the Flat Earth, Fight the Flat Earth. 2 people verified it. He knows the 2 people who verified this information that I'm telling you now. So this is double verified.
Yeah.
This person's just not in that hospital system. That's kind of where it left us. It's like, all right, know the invoice is fake. Know the hospital saying this person doesn't exist in the hospital system. Where do you go to now? What more do you need to know? So that's where we're at. And that's when Uni came in, Uni.
Yeah. And then you guys literally, Fight started talking to Reds and Ilya at some time, and they were trying to basically say, well, no, something's wrong. Or what did they say? What was the first thing they said to you from them, Reds and Ilya? Because they were like, giving you information back.
I've never spoke to Reds and Ilya directly.
But through
my conversations, my conversations, because what we were trying to do was we were just trying to figure out the truth and big up
exactly.
Because Fight just said, hey, listen, just he's just all for the truth, whatever it may be. What's the truth of the situation? That's all. That's all he wanted to know.
And that's all we all want to know.
And I kind of made me feel for him. But I also said the same thing. Yeah, we just all want to know the truth. So with this overwhelming evidence about, about this, he had all the numbers. He had my investigation log because I gave it all to him. So I gave it, here's what we did, the names. There's no hiding anything. There was some back and forth on that side, but I don't want to get into our conversation. But there was a lot of back and forth on that side between me and Fight, and it seems like no one who I spoke to honestly believed this story was real. This was legitimate. But then I know at the end of the evening, now we have supposedly they recorded ilyamoon supposedly recorded herself going into her bank account. This is something I feel like I can share. So ilyamoon reported herself going into, after all this came out, the fake invoices. It was like another fake invoice that you guys don't know about, and the hospital saying she was never a patient. So then, hours later, after she's already been presented this information, she comes forward and says, and gives a video to, I believe, my man FTE, and obviously tweeted about it. In that video, she supposedly, it shows her going into her, banks, going and logging in, doing everything to verify her bank stuff. Yeah. Now, I don't know why she didn't just go log into her client ID system. I don't know why, but in that bank statement, they said showed 4 payments to the healthcare system, to this healthcare system that says that she was never a patient. So that's the conflict now that we got. We got ilyamoon, who sent a recording. Now, I'm not sure if there's an edited video. I'm not sure anything. There's a recording, and this recording supposedly is of her logging into her bank account, seeing 4 payments. Okay. We had the hospital saying that she wasn't a patient, and we have the invoices that were fake, that were doctored. So now that's where we're at. That's the tension here. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's my issue. Here's my problem. One thing that they did when we were telling people that the Sean fundraiser was fraudulent and everybody was denying us for about, that whole year, it came up and went back under. Reds loves to, and he loved to straw man. He loves to take us making a point and try to find something around that point and make an argument out of it. This whole thing with the bank statements is a straw man, because what makes us believe that something was fraudulent about this fundraiser? The invoice, the hospital saying this person was never treated here, this is fraudulent. The hospital saying that these numbers are not right, they don't work. The hospital saying this is not the format, this is fake, right? That is the thing that tells us that that's the driving force for anyone's opinion about this fundraiser. You said you had cancer, you came out and said, I was treated at this hospital, and here's my paper, now leave me alone. And that's what she said. And then when you say, well, we're going to look at, we're at least going to verify this and look at it before we leave you alone. And once you look at it, you realize it's fake. The hospital tells you it's fake, and they tell you that she's never been treated there. So my problem is this. Why, if she's so willing to disappear for 3 hours and then come back out of nowhere and re-enable her Twitter account and have a video where she logs in and shows a bank account that made payments here, why isn't she willing to call the hospital and say, I need to speak to, like, okay, so at my hospital, I would call my social worker and I'd say, I did a fundraiser. I wouldn't need to because the VA pays my stuff. But if I did, I don't know why. They needed money. The VA needs money from me, even though they never would. My social worker would tell me what happened to make the records department tell people that my record's fake, so that I could fix it, so that I could have it fixed, so that then I literally get it fixed. I'd say, here's what happened, here's the problem, talk to the record company, here's where I saw my doctor, there's something wrong here. Then I would go back out to you guys that are looking into this and say, recall them, call the same place and ask them what happened. And that way, the driving opinion behind why people say this public fundraiser I put out is fake would be solved. Why aren't they doing that? Because it really, when we did the Sean thing, it was straw man after straw man after straw man after straw man. We showed even the eviction, and they said that doesn't prove he didn't pay the landlord. So we showed the affidavit of debt that literally stated rent. This is that same situation. Them showing the bank account is the same situation as what happened with Sean. That's my problem, Nate. That's my problem.
You know what? No, you're right. I think at this point in time, we just got to call a spade, right? Now, to be fair, the thing that I've realized today is that all the information that ilyamoon has given us up to this point was false. The only thing that they're saying that is true is something that no one else has ever seen. Right?
Yeah, we can't see it.
It's a recording of it. No one else has ever seen this, so we have to now trust only the flat Earth that he's seen it.
Exactly.
And we got to trust Reds Rhetoric that he's seen it, and we know Red's obvious word is shit, right? Nobody's believing Red's rhetoric.
He's a liar. Yes, a pathological liar.
Yeah. Again, he was the one that verified all Sean Hufford stuff. So,
exactly.
His credibility is pretty low. So, it's now we're at the trust but verify. So we're trying to verify this document with the people who supposedly made the document could not be verified. So
somebody donated to say that the hospital has to tell you the patient doesn't exist unless there's a release signed. Not in this situation. Not when they put out a public document like this and it's fake. They can't tell you that this document's fake and tell you. They literally told Nate and the others to contact the authorities. So the issue here is that a fundraiser was raised and a hospital was used as the excuse. So when the hospital says that's not one of our that's not our invoice system, that's not what happened here, that thing's completely fake. It's not a HIPAA related thing. There was no people are confused. They weren't asking about a patient. They were asking about this receipt if it was valid. That's all. So yeah.
Yes.
So we
didn't care about the patient. We don't care about the patient, and it can't be a HIPAA violation because the person wasn't a patient there, right?
Yeah, there's no HIPAA violation if they weren't. Yeah, they'd have to be a patient in order for HIPAA to even be a question, and they weren't a patient there, so there's no HIPAA worry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all this is about. If there's a HIPAA violation, it's like you got attorney-client privilege, and I'm like, this guy was never even my client. This doesn't make sense.
Exactly, same type thing.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a good question to ask. The person who asked a good question, so and understandable. Yeah. So okay, now the point is though, this thing that she's shown. The other part of this isn't just what you've said. The actions of this person is a major issue. Can somebody put the things that Ilya said into current live stream for me? Just relevant things that, we should probably look at. I know she's out saying stuff now. Okay. Now, hold on. We've got some stuff on Twitter. Go ahead, though.
No, I just want to make it very clear of what, just so everyone knows. Right now, we have two conflicting narratives here going on.
Yes.
One, we have, the hospital saying, hey, paperwork is fake, accurate. The paper we can't verify this is even our paperwork. Then we have the paperwork itself having issues on it, right? The paperwork itself having duplicative numbers and all that stuff on it. Then we had a separate issue again, and now we have a video that no one else can see, but we should once again trust the video that we can't verify. So that's kind of where we're at,
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do with it?
Well, I'm trying to, where we are is that this is a fraudulent fundraiser. The burden of proof has been met for this to be determined absolutely fraudulent because the hospital itself said that, and I might have closed the invoice. The hospital itself, here, we can see it here. The hospital itself says that this invoice is fake and it doesn't even follow the nomenclature or the system for their invoice numbers or anything. Therefore, the burden of proof is now met by us, by you guys, by the people that, brought this out to say it is fraudulent. Now, why do I say that? Because easily, I mean with a phone call, she could fix this and it will take minutes. Phone call, hey, what happened? This is my problem. We've got it fixed. Tell them to call us in an hour. It's done. The issue, though, is that the person who ran the fundraiser is now trying to lie to the internet and say that they have proven themselves by showing their bank account to people in a video. They didn't even screen share the bank account. Do you know how sus it is that a video was shared instead of screen share? Do you know how, and then the way the way Reds Rhetoric stated it is that Red says, I've looked and seen that Ilya made payments from her bank account to the hospital, so it is legitimate. But we know that Red's lies to cover up for people's fraudulent fundraisers like he did with Sean Hufford. We can't take his word. We can't take Ilya's word. We can't take anyone else's word connected to them. The point is, if they literally can just not do anything, like she plans on leaving the internet in like a day. She put up a thing that says, in 1 day or in 2 days, I'm leaving the internet forever. So if you guys don't message me, I'll never talk to you again, speaking to her community. This is announced after she decides that she's met the burden of proof. Now, after her friends look at her video, they all go around, like I told you, saying that she proved them right, proved that the fundraiser is real, and then she retweets it, and all of them and all their friends start retweeting it, and none of them even care that as we speak, the hospital told us to contact the authorities because this is a faked document used to collect $7,000, $8,000. Nate, do we know how much she collected?
I am not even sure. I know the GoFundMe is like 40 something, 4,300, something like that. But I think at this point in time, if it seems like, especially if the person keeps saying it, may just be time just to go to the authorities, because
yes,
and only thing you do is just take them this invoice and say, hey, here's the GoFundMe, here's the invoice, this is what happened. We all got screenshots of everything, and then see what happens, because they have subpoena power, and I'm assuming they're going to call the hospital too, because I'm going to give them the call log and say, call the hospital. Here are the people who I talked to. Here's what they said. Here's the times I called. You can match it with my phone records. It's all good. And see what happens. Because if she was a patient, they're going to say, oh, she was obviously a patient. And if she wasn't, they're going to say it's obvious she wasn't, because the first call is going to be to the hospital, right? Hey, this is Detective so-and-so.
Yeah.
Is this person? So it's a simple thing, and I just hope that I would feel bad if this was what it was. I'm almost sad to say that it is what it is, but this if you don't have cancer, you say you do. That's something's wrong here. But I don't know. To be honest with you, now it's all allegedly. It's just there's a lot of smoke here. There's a lot of smoke. You know what I'm saying, Uni?
I agree. I guess what the question would be then, and I'm going to run a poll in the chat. So let me go ahead and start that up. It should be starting in a second. The poll is going to be ! Vote space yes for yes, ! Vote space no for no. And let me start the poll. It started. Streamlabs will be telling you in the live chat how to vote. Make sure you listen to Streamlabs. And it's going to ask you the question is, has the burden been met for authorities? Has the burden been met for authorities? Vote yes or no. Space yes. Enter for yes, and the same thing for no with no. That's the question, Nate. And my opinion is that with the calls, with them lying, with the behavior of ilyamoon being so disrespectful today, so disgusting, and trying, she first changed, as soon as you guys started asking questions, she changed her @ on Twitter. Then she deleted her Twitter account. Now everybody knows when you delete Twitter, you can go back and log in within like 20 days and it'll just come back. So a few hours later, she does come back. And with her disappearing in the conversation twice, one, she disappeared before this phone call she supposedly made to the hospital, and she made like on a speakerphone call for some reason. I don't get it. And then so she leaves for 10 minutes, comes back, makes a speakerphone call, and talks to someone that allegedly is the hospital. And she, instead of just doing it on the computer and inside the call with them, I don't get, like, I could literally watch you make the phone call and verify it on a computer, but she can't do that for some reason, and they're in Discord.
So
but
let's just call it a spade a spade.
Yeah,
what she has to do is log into the patient portal, right? That's all you have to do. And you can do that if you forget your thing. You click a button and they'll send you to your email.
Resend your password. Yeah. She had all these excuses.
I forgot all
she couldn't do it.
So all this, now I just want everybody to know, this is cloak and dagger stuff, right? It's, let's just call it what it is, right? This is still trust us, not trust evidence. Trusting evidence is you see the video, right? You get to see the video, you get to see what happens. Not, you got to trust what we're telling you is true, right? And that's what it's now coming down to. If we got to trust, we just tell the truth. Those, you know, you don't have duplicate invoice numbers in modern invoicing. That just doesn't happen. You know, there's obvious issues on the face of that document, right? Even, you know, I had the pleasure of someone went through, because obviously the person, I believe he saw the video, and, you know, and again, he's looking for the truth, and he went through the video looking for the truth, and we tried to match up the invoice dates and the bank numbers, and they didn't match up, you know, so there's even issues between those documents. So
hold on. So the video that she's using on Twitter, Reds is using on Twitter to act like Ilya's innocent, had the wrong invoice and bank numbers when you guys looked at it to match it up. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we tried to match up. We tried to match up the dates of the payments, the bank state from the bank statement to the original invoice that was given. So the original invoice had 4 entries. Supposedly the bank statement had 4 entries. The bank login had 4 entries. So Fight was like, yo, you know, here are the 4 entries. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, let's see if they match up, because at this point, obviously, you don't want to be blinded by evidence in terms of, if you have evidence that's against the grain, you have to take it as true. See if it just fits within all the evidence, right? It's got to fit within everything that you also that's know to be true. So when I got this evidence, I didn't want to treat it as, you know, as something I could just throw away. You want to really, really evaluate it. So that's what we did. We said, okay, let's see if this matches the earlier evidence, because we could be wrong. So we went through the dates. The first 2 dates matched perfectly. You know, the 6th, money out in the 6th, money paid in the 6th, money out in the 13th, money out in the 13th. The last 2 dates didn't match. We looked at the last 2 dates. We're like, well, hold on. All the other dates match, but these last 2 dates doesn't match. It was actually 4 days. So then it was kind of like, well, why would the first 2 match and the last 2 match? So then we pondered, maybe it's the weekend, right? Maybe the first 2 are on like a Thursday or something, and the other 2 are on a weekend, so you had to wait till the weekday. To find out, they were all on a weekend. They were all on like a Saturday. So it just was like, it was always like, okay, hold on, this, you know, this doesn't matter. This doesn't. I shouldn't say this doesn't matter. This doesn't make sense. So right now, we just in this quandary. Right now, this is the evidence that we have. On one side, invoices, right? 2 fake invoices. We got a hospital saying that this person was never a patient, and we got all that on one side. On the other side, we have someone who says they saw a video of somebody going into their bank account, and they have 4 dates, and the 4 dates that they have don't match the 4 dates on the invoice that we know is fake. So
nothing matches. It's all so sloppy. It's all so bad. It's all so ridiculous. And just so everybody knows, these are the same damn people from my video and Nate's video that we made a week or 2 ago. My video, which was, and I just want to say it right here, 2 YouTubers steal $10,000 in a fundraiser and have done many, many more. Insane. What's the insane part? This is another one of their fundraisers. This is another one of the fundraisers of the people that go to YouTube and they say, I have to pay my rent or I'm going to be homeless. I need $10,000. And after they collect the $10,000, we look at it and say, you ripped everybody off. They lie for an entire year for each other. They lie for each other in the face of the evidence and try to claim us liars until they come out and admit that we are right after we expose them on YouTube. Now, we barely cast a gaze towards another one of their fundraisers, and they have fake documents. They have the hospital that they claim that they went to literally saying, this is a fake document. Why? What the fuck? You know, like they say, call the authorities. The hospital says it's a fake document. You can't make fake documents like this to run fundraisers. Call the authorities. If you donated, you need to get a hold of the authorities. Because if she would meet the burden of proof, which would be simple, then everybody would just say, oh, she met the burden of proof, it's fine. But if you're going to lie and straw man, it's not going to work. Now, I want to read one of her Twitter posts where she comes back after deleting her account and just starts flipping out on everybody once she hears a couple of my periscopes and once she knows that people are looking into this. She flips out. So I'll just go through it. Interrupt me anytime, Nate. She says, She says, this is my one and only post, or my one and done post. This is blank, formerly known as Ilya. I left. I've not been around since Bull's passing. Yeah, but you were the one that did his fundraiser. You should have never left. It's disrespectful as hell to leave after you cashed Bull's fundraiser money into your bank account and then sent it to Reds Rhetoric's bank account. If you want to bring up Bull, we could bring up Bull, but let's just keep going. What else has anyone want from me? All we wanted you to do is if you ran a fundraiser, just account for it and then go do what you want. That's it. I know it sounds so bad, right? We're such horrible people. Am I not a horrible monster who did these things that people are saying? God knows what do you mean did things? Who's saying you did anything? I'm a human. If you choose, I believe the hype. Enough is enough. Stop. I revoke your privilege to speak against me or harm me. Well, we never had that privilege, so I don't know what you're talking about. As this is it. It's been 4 months, and y'all still can't keep my name out of your mouth. That's crazy, considering I won't even go into what she said and did to me or how she, her cyber stalking people. But blah 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 blah. STFU, sit down, calm yourself. It seems like you're the one that needs to calm down. All we asked for is you just do two things. One, just account for your fundraiser, and then you can go away forever and nobody will miss you. But instead, you decided to play games, create fake documents, and try to push them off as real documents, and now you're going to leave and pretend like you're the victim. We get it. We get it. Life is hard, huh? Life is hard. Nate, what else you got on this, man? Like, let's just let me look at the result of the poll, and then we'll give we'll get your final thoughts on it, mine, and we'll talk to the chat for a little bit. Oh my God, you got to be joking. I got 30 votes. Nate, you tell me, how many do you think out of 30 votes voted yes, and how many voted no for is the burden met for the authorities?
25 yes, 5 no.
I'm showing it on screen right now. 30 yes, 0 votes for no. So good. So good. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll. Thank you. And because you guys voted in the poll, if anyone that wants free rocks, which are like the little, points you get to play games in my live chat, you've got about 30 seconds and I'm giving away 250,000 rocks, just so you know. If you want them, type in the chat. Okay, Nate, let me know, man. Any final thoughts? Anything else on this? Anything else on your mind before we go to the live chat?
You know what? 2 things. Number one, I just want everybody to know that, we actually did our due diligence here, right? We went through it line by line. We gave the person the benefit of the doubt, as you saw from our tweet yesterday. We said gave the person the benefit of the doubt, and only thing we were asking for is verify, is this receipt accurate? It's just like somebody giving you a receipt, you taking it back to the store and say, is this one of your receipts? That's essentially what we did today, and we could not verify that. They would not verify that. As a matter of fact, they said if the person's name that you're giving us isn't even a patient here. We don't have that patient on record. So we showed the hospital to GoFundMe. This happens all the time. So this is nothing new. I just feel bad that now, I just don't know. I don't know how to get the new evidence, because obviously the new evidence that's been presented has only been presented to a certain amount of people. So there's really no transparency there. If we can't see why people are feeling that this is that this is legit. Right now, the whole question is, somebody saw a video of her logging into her thing, right? Somebody saw that video. And because somebody saw that video, all this other stuff's supposed to be forgotten. And the invoice is supposed to be forgotten. The hospital saying what it said is forgotten. We're supposed to forget all that because she has a video of her logging into her account. It's just too much. It's just too much. I just can't do that. Hopefully we'll be able to end this in a couple of hours, or maybe in a couple of days, just to figure out what exactly happened. Because right now it's just hard for me to believe that all these things happen, and we really, it just doesn't make any sense.
I completely agree with you. The thing that's always struck me as odd about this situation is that these guys like to act like there's some big internet battle happening where they are versus someone else, and it happens with them in everything they get into. And they immediately started that here, but it didn't work, because after that last fundraiser, nobody on the internet gives them any of the people that that haven't called these guys out or stood against these guys, you don't get an ounce of respect or anything, an iota of shit, if you support these people, because they stole $10,000 and forgave their friend for it instantly. They didn't even care. And that's the same thing that's going to happen here. And I don't believe a single bit of it. Here's what I'll believe. If she wants to go ahead and meet some burden of proof, because I do want to make sure everybody knows what the most likely scenario is, too, before we go to the live chat, so I can go there pretty easily. So I agree with you, Nate, but I want to show them what the most likely scenario is. And this thing is so bad that now you want to know why she tried to come out. Why didn't she just ignore us, right? Because if she didn't do it, or if she thought that we didn't have anything, she would have just ignored us, right? The thing we had... I was
supposed to say, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. What was it?
I said I would suspect so. If we didn't have anything, she would be ignoring us. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, she came back from the internet dead to flip out over this. So the thing that really got her, this fundraiser is from a specific state. It is a specific amount. It is a specific kind of cancer that involves specific dental procedures, and it happened in November. A month before this, people find this, which is all of those things I just named without cancer. So it's just the dental procedures that are kind of like the cancer that she would have had to have happened for that. It's the same state. It's the same amount of money that she needs. It's the same everything. And then here's the cherry on top. This was done by ilyamoon. The person who did this one is ilyamoon, with a U instead of an A. Now, she claims this isn't her, because if it is her, then it looks like she wanted to get her teeth fixed and pay old dental bills and turned it into cancer so she could gain some money. A lot of money here out of a $6,000 goal. Nothing here. Now, guess what we found that completely destroyed, other than the fact that she lied about being a cancer survivor at that hospital, being treated at that hospital, and showed fake receipts. The other thing that completely explodes her and Reds Rhetoric and just destroys their narrative, the ilyamoon account linked to another account on PayPal. And that PayPal account linked to a different Facebook account. And that Facebook account was her following all of her internet friends, and they were following her back. And basically, it is absolutely confirmable that this is the same person. So whatever you want to believe is fine. Essentially, this month, she has these dental bills that are 2 years old. In fact, I'm going to read you just a little piece of it so you understand, because once you hear this, you're going to understand. Last year, I had oral surgery to help remove impacted teeth and get my teeth growing where they're supposed to, because they weren't growing in place. Now my teeth still haven't grown back. It's gradual, but the bill, as of late, has been difficult to pay. I'm out of a job, unfortunately, and still owe $2,100 out of $6,000 bills. I have been making payments, but I'm 3 payments behind, and none of them have been the contracted amount. They must stop treatment if any bit helps. They may stop treatment, so any bit helps. You can find me on PayPal, and that's how she got busted. She got busted because those PayPals and linked to social media accounts that she forgot she linked up to her friends, and it busted her. But nobody wanted to help her with old dental bills that she chose not to pay, because they know that she chooses to lend her friends money. She donates money to all these YouTubers and stuff. So people knew that about her, so they didn't want to help her until she had cancer. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm not saying she does. I don't trust a word that comes out of her mouth or any of the other people that did that $10,000 fundraiser, or supported any of the people that did the $10,000 fundraiser, or didn't even call out those people. I don't trust them. So go ahead, Nate.
You know what? Well, I just want to say too, the problem here is not that no one here is saying that she doesn't have.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely not.
Have the cancer. No one here is even saying that this is all fraudulent. Just to be honest with you, what we're saying is that you've given us a receipt. You said this invoice, right? This invoice
Gave us a fake invoice.
Hospital.
Yeah.
We took it to the hospital and said, we don't care about the patient. We just want to know, is this one of your receipts? They said they could not verify that. It was one of their receipts. And they could not verify the patient was supposed to have those receipts supposed to represent. That's what we're talking about. Now, all the other stuff that people can say, but those are two facts you can't, and the fact that that invoice has errors on it.
Yes.
Invoice itself has errors on it. When
And
you
if
put all that together, it's just that you got to understand it's reasonable to question something like this. And not only I think it's reasonable to question, I think it's reasonable to really think that you may have been scammed. Because just like with the Sean Hufford, and think about this with the Sean Hufford thing. He had to get the absolute proof. The documents, they knew, Sean knew all that time that he didn't pay.
All along, he didn't pay. He lied that whole time. Reds lied for him that whole time. They all fucking sat and promised that they checked his work, checked his receipts, and that UNIRock's lying on him for a year. UNIRock's a big liar.
The only time that they were able to get caught at the end when the release came out and it was obvious, right? It was this person, this is it. Now the same thing with unfortunately Ilya is that it's obvious what's going on, and I think maybe people are saying, well, if the police aren't involved, maybe that's and if that's the way it needs
they will be.
That's the way it just needs to be done.
Yeah, they're getting involved, and the thing that's the point. Everybody rooted for, like, they don't believe us that we root. They really think we want to do this. They think I'd rather be playing video games. Honestly, I'd rather be working on videos for this channel. But I would, which I have been. I got one for you tomorrow. But the point is, nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to sit here and think of how depressing it is that somebody would fake cancer if they would. And that somebody who went through cancer might be being accused of it. The problem is, if you're going to keep supporting, if you're going to support people and hang out with people who have stolen $10,000 in a fundraiser and not even call them out, and you yourself have these problems with your fundraiser, I think I know why you're not calling out your friends. You're not calling out your friends because a lot more of you run these types of fundraisers than what we think. Now, we haven't even told you about a couple more fraud raisers that Reds Rhetoric's done. I haven't even broadcasted them yet. I haven't even talked to you about them. One, he fixed a car for $5,000 that the community paid for, though had a family member pay the bill, and he kept the money for it. And you're about to find out soon, as I can get time to get normal content up and finish these other long-form videos, that there are so many fundraisers these guys have done where they have completely conned this community and communities around them that it's mind-boggling. It's just mind-blowing in the end. But this, if she's not willing to not own, she should be happy, man. She should be fucking happy. You've got tens upon tens of thousands of subs. You took time out of what you do that you make money doing to exonerate her ass. And it sucks that it didn't happen. It just sucks that it didn't happen. But here's the other thing, Nate. I'm not buying their bullshit. I don't think anyone else will either. They can sit around there and act like this recorded video does something. It doesn't do shit. This is fraudulent. It's going to the authorities. You had your chance and you didn't want to take it. You're not getting what Sean got. No, none of you are ever getting what Sean got ever again. When you don't come out and fucking step up to the plate with these, they're going straight to the authorities from now on. We don't have the time for this. This is dumb.
But think about what we're taking to the authorities. If we were to go to the authorities, what are we taking? We're going there and saying, hey, listen, this person is having a fundraiser, says they have cancer, and they said they were being treated at this particular hospital. Here's our call logs. This hospital, these people from this hospital said she was never a patient there. What do you think the authorities are going to say? When we take it to the authorities and say, these people at this hospital, here are the names, blah, 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 blah.
They're going to call the hospital, yeah.
This is your hospital. We called them, and they said this paper cannot be verified by them, and that this fundraiser is likely fraudulent. Matter of fact, the person who this fundraiser is for, they can't find in their system. They're going to say, we ain't got nothing here.
Oh, they're definitely going to jump on it. They're going to jump on it. They jumped on Sean's.
It's an easy win. It's an easy win. So I just think, do you think GoFundMe, this is what GoFundMe is most fearful about?
Oh, I know. I've got a whole playlist that was on UNIRocktv, Crowdsource Criminals, and it was just playlist. It was video after video after video about people that ran fraudulent fundraisers and ran off with the money. Some of them get 5 years, some of them get 4 years, some of them get 6 years. It's insane. A dude stole $2,000 and got 5 to 8 years. Another lady stole $4,400, got 2 years in prison, and then got 10 months probation after. So these are life-changing type things. This isn't some joke like they act like it is. It's not something like, hey, she showed me a video, me, the biggest liar on the internet, Reds Rhetoric, and now you have to believe that everything's good when you've got this problem in your face. It's like, nice straw man. You're a straw man expert. Thanks for another straw man for us to knock down. Nice. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
I just don't, to be honest with you, I just don't think they thought we would ever check. Because who's ever going to check? Who's ever going to check with the invoice? Who's ever going to just call a hospital? Hey, just look at this invoice.
Well, that's what Sean thought. This
invoice is right.
Yeah, Sean thought we would never check on the eviction. He thought we'd never check.
and again, that's all that happened here. We just took this form and with the hospital's name on top and handed it to them and said, "Is this real?" Told us it wasn't.
Yeah.
What can we do?
Well, Nate, you do have a giant discovery because in just a couple months, we've got a fundraiser we've busted. You've got a fundraiser you've busted now. They involve the same people. Reds Rhetoric is sitting there defending her on Twitter an hour before the information really pops off to prove that she's lying about parts of it. And again, hope to God she doesn't have cancer. I hope that she beat it. I wish she never had it in the first place. Don't know what she's lying about. I just know that this is not real unless she can go and figure out what the problems are with it and get them resolved. This is not real. She's had all day to do it. She knows that there have been like 10 people working their ass off to try and exonerate her, and she's just working against all of them, and she's probably going to be mad. She's probably angry right now that we're talking about this, but we're done sitting here for a year knowing that every day that goes by, these people who donated this $10,000 to that fundraiser they're losing the opportunity to get their money back, right? These people that are ripped off and conned, right? So we need to get this one up there.
Yeah, it's a shame because I thought today it's just been clear that, hey, this is it. This is over. You know, we went through this extremely analytically today. We didn't go over.
You guys did.
Over the notes. But you should just see it. You know, he is a person. We were very professional. We just said, hey, we made sure we told everybody exactly what we were looking for. Hey, this person is saying this is what it is. This is who this person was. Here's the fun. Like, you know, we even went to this. You know, the hospital saw the fundraiser, saw the receipt on the fundraiser thing. So this wasn't about us. Then, you know, here's the information. She made this public. Is this real? And it's tough when the hospital says it's not real. And I don't know what they expect for us to do. Because after the Sean Hufford fundraiser, Reds was involved with. Now he's involved with this one. You know, it's at a point. Is everything? You know, it makes you question everything. And for them to now say they have, again, it's, you know, I believe fight, but secret evidence don't never work. Secret evidence don't never work.
She's calling you. She's kind of calling you guys liars, basically, because it wasn't just you that called. It wasn't just you. There were other people that called and got the exact same.
Confirmed. Yeah,
yes. So it was not just you. So she says that she called the hospital direct with Reds and Fight in a hangout, which is just insanely dumb to me. Why not let them talk to someone? So she put it on speakerphone and they validated I was a patient. So what this means is, what she's saying is, they sat there and listened while she put it on speaker and called and talked to the hospital. Now, when they asked her to do this, they go to her and say, well, listen, we're going to have you call the hospital while you're in a call with us, and you can tell them, you know, we want to hear you talk to them. Guess what she did? She hung up on them and disappeared for over 10 minutes. And when she came back, she had a call on speakerphone with the hospital, but Fight said that it sounded scripted and it sounded weird. It didn't sound like the person was answering the questions properly, and they didn't even sound right. So when you talked to them, was it an extremely professional thing? Did they answer with the hospital and all that, or Were they very, you know?
Yeah, no. It was. Well, don't forget, I called the number right on the website. You know, again, it's all in the call log. Here's the number from the website. I took the person's name down. This is, you know, so it was, and they were very professional. This is what it is, you know. So, you know, and again, I spoke to about 4 or 5 different people, you know, in that department, because when you call back, sometimes there was one person who always picked up the phone. Then sometimes that person would go away from the phone, so you'd speak to somebody else. And again, this was just calling just to say, here's the information. Can you verify? Can you verify? Can you verify? And they could verify absolutely nothing. And they went out their way, and I got to say that to the hospital staff, they went out their way to be extremely professional themselves, but they also went out that way to protect that patient's, you know, protect that patient's privacy, in sense of, we're not giving you anything. We're just trying to document whether this piece of paper that this person legitimately has on a GoFundMe site with our hospital's logo on it, if that is something that we do. And they said, we can't verify that. No. And
exactly.
And they said, well, what's the patient's name? Since there's a bill, there should be a patient's name on this bill. That's the only way we can verify. And when we gave them the patient's name, said it's not in their system. That's it. That's all we were at.
So she tags Menace to Sobriety and Fight and says, I verified myself. They validated I was a patient, my email on file, and where to send my details documents I needed. So here's the issue. They have a thing called a patient portal that you can log into and literally access whatever you want so that you don't have to bug them. And all that they wanted was for her just to log in, and they weren't going to, you know, record or take any screenshots. They were just going to look and see that she told the truth. She would not do it. And this thing that she's presenting as, hey, guys, I told the truth to everybody, is actually the thing that everyone had to settle with, because she wouldn't do any of the other stuff. She wouldn't do anything that they asked that would actually do something, though. But what would she do? She would call someone on the phone and have a conversation with them. And it's like, why not just fucking log in? Why not just, you know, like when you call the hospital, like actually... talk to the same damn people that they talk to and have a legit conversation. She had no conversation about, why are you telling people that I'm not a patient here? Why are you telling people that I didn't get treated for cancer here? That conversation doesn't happen. But she has a conversation where this person's like, oh yeah, you're a patient here. Your email's on file. And I'll send the detail documents. Yeah. It's just so messed up, man. Like, I hate it. I hate this, because this is what Sean did.
What you need to do, not you, but anybody who's verifying this with her need to be the ones to call. Like in other words, yes. I'm not going to her for the phone number, right? I already got the phone number. I already got everything lined up. Only thing I'm doing is pushing the button. I'm telling them what we're doing. There's a GoFundMe. I'm telling them exactly what's going on and say, here's a patient. What information do you need from her to verify that she's a patient there? Go.
Yeah,
she's going to give you the information.
She could literally, she could approve for someone to talk to him. That's how hospitals work. You can approve them. She could call in and say, I approve this person, you know? It's all good. And then let someone call in. I
do have to say this, though. All these scams, you know the beautiful part about the scam, and I feel bad for saying this about poor Reds. You know when you know it's a scam is the whole, oh, well, now that we've given you bullshit, we're never going to talk about it again. Why? Because you can never get another receipt, right? That's the way. Like I think he thinks that we're all so stupid. Yeah. Yes, he can just say, "Oh, we're never going to talk about it again. That's it. It's over." No, it's not over. The hospital,
it's not over.
She wasn't a patient. Yes,
the hospital told you guys to call the damn authorities. I mean, for fuck's sake, the hospital's pissed. It's not cool.
It's insane.
It's not over. Hey, Reds, Ilya, it's not over. Reds and Ilya, it's only beginning. I'm just telling you. The only thing we're going to do is back off if you met the burden of proof. You haven't, just so you know. Go ahead.
No, it's insane. They really think that it's just that easy, just like it. And they can just do this by saying, trust us again, like Reds. Reds is saying, oh, I saw it, you know, me and Reds saw the video. But now I feel bad for my boy, Fight the Flat Earth. Yeah, I think he's a good guy. But right now, with the only thing they're saying now, trust FTFE. Trust everything he says. Now, if we find out,
do you see the tactic? Do you see?
But I'm saying this: if we find out this is fake and fraudulent, if that happens to be true, I'm not saying it is, but if it happens to be true, what does that do for his credibility? Because
Well,
people are
that's
going
the
to say,
thing.
with all this evidence, you know, he was still saying it. Reds is
Yeah.
done already. But what does that do?
Yeah.
What does that do
Oh.
for him? You know?
And that's my point. Like, Fight thinks, and me and Fight are trying to talk and everything, so nobody has to think we're fighting. There's no drama, okay?
But
No drama.
Fight's not involved in this at all. Just so everybody
exactly.
understands.
Exactly.
Fight is trying to figure it out too. So,
and
you know,
and that surprised me. The fact that Fight was trying really hard to get to the bottom of it. The problem I have is that on Fight, hear me out if you're listening. I think you are, or you will. But you got to hear me out and hear what I'm saying before you judge it, okay? You and Reds both have a tweet that state that Ilya is, and I think I have it right here, at the bottom, the payments appear to be legitimate. Now, I don't like that because there's no question about her payments. We don't have anything. She's not produced a thing to the community for us to look at the payments. So why do we care? What we do have, though, is these payments due and all this from this document. And it is, unfortunately, not just fake, but we were even told these two numbers matching is impossible. It invalidates the whole thing, and that these numbers after the first and second number are invalid. And what that tells you is the only option is that, and Ilya just produced this a day or two ago in response to people saying, if you just produce a receipt, people will shut up. So she thought, well, if I do that, everything goes away. Yeah, but no one expected your numbers to be invalid and the format to be wrong. Anyway, though, my point is, the more that you allow yourself around Reds rhetoric, right, the less your audience, and this is just an observation from someone that's done this a long time, the more they're going to be disappointed in you, and the more they're going to say, when is he going to wake up? They're rooting on you. The massive people that support you are rooting for you to wake up, to call him out, and to finally blast him for using your audience, misusing your audience. He never built your audience. He's never respected your audience because he's allowed your audience in multiple situations to deal with this kind of shit in the way they act, right? Another thing we're not even talking about is the sheer number of fundraisers that they've done. And another thing is the way they react to people who ask questions to a public fundraiser where they fail to meet the burden that they promised the audience. And only because they do that does the audience come back and say, if you're going to lie to us to take our money, we're going to ask questions. If you're going to, tell us that Sean needs 10 months of rent, we're going to call you out when we tell you that he didn't need 10 months of rent. It's a big lie and it doesn't make sense. If Ilya is going to produce this as her evidence, then we're going to say it's fake if it's fake. If it's real, we'll say it's real. It sucks so bad. Fight is sitting next to this again. He's sitting next to fraudulent documents, possible fraudulent. I mean, unless Ilya can come in and fucking explain this, and how do you? She cannot even fault us for believing that this is a fraudulent fundraiser at this stage of evidence. Now, at least we've been willing the whole time to sit here and say, if it's possible that there's an explanation, we're allowing you to make it. And her explanation should tell you everything you need to know. I let Reds and Fight see things that now prove that I'm 100% innocent. Right, Reds? Yeah. Right, Fight? I guess. And that is literally what they say is good enough to drop the conversation forever. And ironically, Ilya is going to disappear from the internet soon, be gone and never come back. And, if she wouldn't have done this, nobody would have even known. But since she did, thank God she did, because it actually helps people, get their money back in the end. So that's nice.
I think at the end of the day, I think this is the death nail. If this is actually found to be what it is, I think it's gonna, it just is what it is. I don't think looking at this invoice can say that this is that there's no questions here. Obviously, with the duplicate, obviously, it just is. I also think just the plain thing of calling the hospital and saying, "Hey, patient doesn't exist anywhere else." If this was any other name, you'd be saying this person is guilty. This is over. But now it seems like because somebody seeing a video of somebody going into account. I would just say this: the simplest way to clear this up is if someone is just coming to you and saying, if she was to come to me, for instance, and say, hey, can you help me clear this up? I'd say, sure, give me your passcode and username for the patient portal. But log in from on my end, because she could change her pass. She could change both those.
Yeah.
Right?
She could lock you right out at any time. Yeah.
So I'm going to log in, check it. I can log in. Okay. Oh, these payments are here. Done. All right. I'm going to log out. We'll change your password, change your username. So I don't know. And then we're good. We're good. Right. That's it. That's all that needs to be done. And you'll know for a fact. You'll know for
instantly.
A fact.
Bam.
But they again, think about it. We're talking about 6 hours. 6 hours of trying to figure this out with her, I believe.
Yeah,
with her, and they couldn't get into the patient portal. But they can make a video of them going into a bank account. They couldn't just log into the patient portal.
Because it's easy. If people don't know this online, it is extremely easy to fake a bank account. You log into your bank account, disconnect, and you can if you know how to do some coding, it's literally, you could go right now and look at a video and be able to emulate the bank account and change whatever you want on it to say what you want. And that's the thing. I'm not accusing her of that, but for her to provide a video to them, what? And then she said the whole time her screen share wouldn't work. That doesn't even make sense. Why aren't they using Discord, by the way? Why are they using a Google Hangout? Old technology when all of them admittedly use Discord and hang out in Discords. And Discord has a very good screen sharing. And even if you have a screen sharing issue, you can, I don't even want to go into it. Everything that she's done is to dodge the main question. It's to strawman. It's to stand to the side and try to build an argument that they can say, this argument exonerates me. The problem is it doesn't. Not with this here. You saying that you have this bank account video, and we don't even want to see it. I don't want to see what's in your bank account. And this is why you don't do this. This is why you don't do this shit. You like this literally makes you defrauding everyone with this shit. You told everybody you received cancer treatment here. I don't understand why this always happens to these people. And then a month or two later, it comes out that they ended up defrauding the fundraiser. Every time.
And everybody should understand this. With any type of scam, easy to get your money, but it's complicated to verify it back, right? And that's what's happening here. It's just it's gotten extremely complicated to even verify whether this account is even active. Incredibly hard to verify. So, it's easy for her to say this was what happened. Now on the back end, they're saying she's not a patient. Who do we believe? Do we believe the hospital? Do we believe ilyamoon? Do we believe a video that nobody's ever seen?
You believe the hospital?
Or do we believe this invoice that has errors on it?
You believe the fake document, the evidence you have every time.
Yes, it's like, what do we believe? Now, they may have something that's convincing on the other side, which is true. And I want to give a shout out to Fight, because he's been working with me on this. Johnny O from the Plot Hole, he's been working with me on this.
No shout out for him here.
I'm sorry, but
sorry, no, you're fine. I'm just being funny. Go ahead.
But they've all put work into this to try to get us to this point. And obviously the FBI, shout out to the FBI. But we get to the point. We get into the point. Yeah, I think it's overwhelming. We all know what the hell this is, right? We all know what the hell this is.
It's overwhelming at this point.
It seems like they want us to flip the trigger and get the authorities involved. If that's the case, so be it. But I just thought that if it became overwhelming, where you just say, hey, we know what happened. Just come clean and let's move forward. Oh, this whole thing about not coming clean, it seems like they're forcing our hand. So let's see.
Oh, no. I'm with you. And I've said this on Periscope, on UNIRocktv on Twitter, where I live stream all the time. So you should come hang out on those streams. On UNIRocktv on Twitter, I said that. I said, if they would come out, like let's say Sean did. Let's say Sean came out when I criticized him a year and 3 months ago, and I told everybody Sean's lying. He didn't pay that landlord. It's impossible with Indiana law. All the reasons I gave. He comes out and says, I'm sorry. Gives whatever. If he's just honest, and instead of lying like he did on Red's channel, he comes out and says, I'm sorry, and actually means it. Do you realize how many people are just not going to go to authorities? because they're going to say, like, who gives a shit? Let this asshole run off. You know, he got me. I don't care. And I mean, that's how far, you know, trying at least trying it. The accountability thing, like if she would have came out and said, guys, I lied, I didn't have cancer, but I had this huge problem and da-da-da-da, and then disappeared into the wind, I don't think anybody would even care. They'd let her go. But if she is going to try to dupe everybody when she leaves, there's no choice. You've got no choice. You have to. There's no way around it.
I think, you know, again, I'm still holding off judgment. I'm like 99.99% sure, you know, this is all fake. But you know, I gotta still withhold. I still withhold judgment. You know, she, you know, maybe something could have happened where we are still mistaken. Maybe this invoice is really an invoice and that's really a typo. You know, anything could be possible. If you're talking about just anything possible, you know, I could be killed by an asteroid right now. That's possible. I think at the back of this one, we just, you know, we really just have to, I think, deal with the reasonable person standard at this point. Is it reasonable to believe that the hospital would create this document with these errors? Is it reasonable to believe when you know, multiple people call the hospital just verifying if the person's a patient there, you know, they obviously say, you know, the person's not even registered. Is it possible that when you call the hospital, you give them this document and say, is this document real? They say, we can't verify this document real. Is it reasonable to believe all of that evidence that this is not real, right? Because everything we had before, not real. Now we should throw that away because somebody said they saw a video of her logging into her bank account, right? It just, what just seems more reasonable at this particular time? So I think it's reasonable to, I think it's reasonable to call it what it is. Obviously, you know, until the authorities get involved and they make that determination, this person, you know, we can only say allegedly because this person has not been convicted of anything.
Very true. Now, listen, I don't do the whole legal thing. Everything here is my opinion, but you do, and that's why I like having you on. And I agree. Look, it's the burden of proof. The burden of proof is met beyond any standard. Her behavior, they'll say you can't factor her behavior in. Yes, you can. That's just a lie they feed you to con you. And I'm going to read every super chat in a minute that I haven't read. That is one way they've conned their community. They convince their community that on situations where they withhold information, that you must apply a scientific standard to that scenario, and you don't. They don't do that when they investigate crimes. Detectives don't do that. You know, journalists don't do that. You do not. Yeah, you got to use science when you have to use science. But when someone's lying to you, it's all about social interaction. It's all about common sense. It's all about street smarts. It's all about, you know, the social perspective. They want you to think you can't factor in not calling out Sean, not calling out, not getting mad at her, not, you know, saying to her, no one wants to sit here for 6 fucking hours and play this back and forth with you. Just prove it. You can prove it in an instant. Let it and be done with it. Work with Nate and prove it. Nate's cool, you know, like work with him. Nothing. She's got to sit in the background. She's got to constantly strawman, constantly disappear, constantly play these games. It all factors into one thing. The burden of proof has been met for an investigation. Now, there's even another fundraiser that we need to talk about that I can give you full... I can prove to you that it's fraudulent. But what we're going to do first, August says Reds needs to crawl under a rock, just not a UNIRock. Oh, I agree. Busy. Oh, no, I don't want him crawling under a UNIRock. That's for damn sure. He wants to. Oh, if you've ever heard what things he writes about me, oh, he wants to. He's obsessed with my booty. He writes about my booty so much, it just freaks me out. The Sinister Porpoise, you can also fake Steve McRae tweets using the same method. You could, very much so. And that's the thing. And we're dealing with someone also who's a master of using sock accounts. The ilyamoon has trolled and threatened and cyberstalked people. So, you know, it's whatever's clever. You want us to believe you're the best person ever, that you would never lie about something like this. And then this is in front of us compared with what we know you've done on the internet. So, I mean, if she does come back and she does somehow work with you, take you in and prove to you that things were on the up and up, I will even just take your word for it and update everybody. But as it sits now, starting to really look like we've got another Sean Hufford, Reds Rhetoric fraudulent fundraiser situation with another. What's interesting is ilyamoon started working with Reds on fundraisers right after I criticized Sean the first time a year and 3 months ago. And I told people on Periscope that she stepped in because Reds wanted her to as the Sean replacement. And she did. You look and see how many fundraisers they did with Sean. Sean kind of stepped out and Ilya stepped in after my first criticism and after they started to get kickback from all my criticisms. So it does seem now that Ilya did the same thing. Now, I personally, and we'll talk about this. Let's go ahead and move to the live chat, so that way I don't want to keep Nate too late. You know, he's got stuff to do. Let's get to the live chat. We can always have you back on. Hey, and if we're doing an after show on Rock a Lot, and Nate, you're always welcome. You know that anytime we're over there. But let's take let's take like 30 seconds, transition over to the live chat and see what you guys think, and then we'll ask the couple end questions before we go. So let's do that now. Thank you all for being here. I haven't streamed on UNIRock 2 in a while, and I want to start streaming here way more often now that I've got a lot of stuff. I'm in a better place to do so. And we're still going to be focusing mostly on the uploads on UNIRock 2. I'm going to try to do at least 2 shows every single week over here relating to what we're talking about. And I wanted to talk about the Duggars. If you've heard what happened to the Duggar family, it's massive. It's insane. We've got a lot to talk about with it, and I've never talked about the Duggars before, but it's so extreme. We've got to. And then this other YouTuber named EDP, turns out there's a lot going around that he's not going to jail for what he did. I might do an upload for that and the Duggar thing, though, and just go to the after show. We'll probably just do that since we've talked about this the whole time. Either way, thank you to everyone supporting us. Thank you to everybody who's been supporting us over on Rock a Lot. And I just appreciate you. I want to make sure you know that. Let's go ahead and move on. Nate the Lawyer. Do not miss out. Subscribe. His channel is blowing up. Man, it's been so long. I miss streaming on this channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the display group up on the background and get a Busy on fire back there. Do you mind that, Busy? Well, no, definitely. Thank you, Busy. Oh, no, thank you. You look good too tonight, Busy. You look good too. Okay, I kind of want to see what the live chat has for us. Your opinion. We did a poll earlier. You guys said that the burden has been met. More than the burden is met. Just from a neutral standpoint, you know. So let's just see here real quick. We'll just riff off the live chat for a minute. Carl says, how many subs for a booty reveal? Kidding, don't do that. I already did. I don't want to talk about it. It was a long time ago. I'm just playing. Sinister says, I love it when he accused me of faking screenshots, and I could come back and honestly say the screenshots were real. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I remember that one, but I think I've heard about it. Nate, thank you so much, says April. April says, as glad you came.
Yeah, April.
Carl says, Reds and Sean took 10,000 and all we got was this lousy t-shirt.
Yeah, I still don't understand. Why did they need so much money? It reminds me of those game shows. Remember, they're like, you can win $10,000.
Oh, yeah. It's like, push it, go. It's like that one with the cases, right? You know what I'm talking about. They lose it all if they're wrong. Yeah. They lost it all. They could have dipped out at some point. And my God, the amount of fundraisers they did, they could have been sitting pretty. And they pushed it so far, man. Like, it's like their last 5 or 6 fundraisers are so bad that I bet it's going to come out all of them have been are fraudulent. I just have a feeling. At least the last ones.
Well, I hope they really think about this one, because this one is really bad. And you know, I think they're waiting to be arrested. I think that's what they're waiting for. And if they're waiting for that, I just, you know, it's a shame, but I think there's a lot here that I would be worried about in the context of criminal liability, because the hospital says don't have a patient by that name here. You know what I'm saying? Where do you go from here?
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand, and I just want to make sure we repeat it. HIPAA law applies to patients. It doesn't apply to people that are lying about being patients, and that's that. There's no obligation. So if they don't have that person as a patient, they can tell you they don't have them as a patient. That can happen. Yes.
No, that person's lying to you. Yeah, they can tell you no. The person who says that they are a patient here to get your money, they're lying to you because they're not a patient here. You know, I think hospitals should tell people that makes sense. No, Rudy?
Oh yeah, no. We have to start doing a fundraiser a week and go through them one by one in order. Yeah, we've done this. Now, I haven't, but there's a group of people who I call the donobros. It's just a nickname that came up, and they are the people that donated money to these guys years ago through many fundraisers. In fact, I was kind of shocked when I heard the amount of money that some of them had just donated to a single fundraiser. These guys had a damn good support base, and they threw that away. It's pretty shocking. They were getting pampered. And, you know, I actually know a lot of these guys in the background. So I call Reds the Tiger King, because if you've ever seen Tiger King, that's literally, he's the identical twin of Tiger King. Elizabeth has a question for you that she's willing to even super chat to get the answer, Nate. She says, Nate, when is the next live stream? I never catch the lives anymore. She wants your live stream, man.
Oh, I'm probably gonna be doing some next week, but I just this week I had the kids, so I had to take a break. But no, next week we will be back on the live streams, definitely. So sorry about that. We'll definitely be back on.
All right, keep an eye out, Elizabeth. And then you can always ring those little bells, right? If you go to a live stream that haven't started, you can hit the schedule button or the reminder button, and it will remind you. It actually works pretty good. So very suspect that Sai kept mentioning at least he didn't lie about cancer defending Sean. Did she know something, UNIRock? Whoa! I think so, because there's something very strange. We've not even got into a lot of circumstantial stuff on the... You'll see this stuff in my videos coming up. You know that I'm going to catalog the entire scam that these guys perpetuated. And it's going to be a pretty long video, and that's why you haven't seen too much content. I try to work on it in between other videos. And yes, the girlfriend of the last person that ran a definite admitted to fraudulent fundraiser, to defend her man, was saying on Twitter, at least he didn't lie about cancer. And a lot of people are looking back on those statements now and thinking how ironic it is. And you know me, I am hated amongst their community because I hold the opinion that they lied about a lot of these fundraisers. A lot of them kept money with a lot of the fundraisers. And I've shown you massive amounts of evidence to the reason why I hold the opinion. So it wouldn't shock me at all to find out they all know. In fact, I think it's some people disagree with me. I know Nate disagrees with me on some of this, but I find their extreme defense of their friends, coupled with the fact that they will persecute, they will crucify their criticizers, the people they don't like, and they will make them guilty to the smallest standard. The littlest thing happens, and they'll say, ooh, they won't have a single piece of evidence, just a littlest rumor, they're guilty. When it comes to their friends, though, they're like hardcore defending them on every little detail. And you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So they obviously know how strict they feel they should criticize their friends, and aren't for a reason. And I think that's where a lot of people disagree. Is the reason because they're all involved? Is it because they all know something? I don't know, but Nate, what are your thoughts? I know you disagree with me a lot on those points. So,
well, to be honest with you, I'm torn because, like, second one, like, goddamn, dude, how could you not know? You know what I'm saying? The first one, the second one, you know, it's you know, for Reds, I feel bad for Reds because it's one of those extremes. He could be totally guilty, which is seeming more likely, or he could be totally innocent, which then it makes him the stupidest person in the world, right? This literally would make him the dumb Blake of the year, of the probably century, right? So think about, let's think about it this way. This year for DM of the year, we have some really great candidates. I'm talking about, we got like this is like the Justice League candidates for DF of the year, right?
Oh yeah,
number one,
yeah.
We got I'm going to Sean, ain't paying no rent Hufford. right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who's asking for people to pay rent. You don't know what the rent is. Don't know how long his lease is. You got 10 days on the lease. Tell you if you got 10 months. And then spend all the money in 3 months on Grubhub when he's 5 minutes from the supermarket.
Yeah.
That's that thinks nobody's going to know. He lies about it for almost a year before the pandemic. Now that most people got shots and things are opening back up, he wants to come clean because he's been found out.
Yeah.
That's a dumb blank of the year. Then you got Ilyamoon, who's given us an invoice. You take it to the hospital. They say we don't know what the hell this is, and this person's never been here. Blank of the year, and then to make those two, Reds is the one saying that not only did he verified Sean, he said Sean was an upstanding gentleman, and he knows for a fact funds were used correctly. Those funds were stolen. Now the same thing with Ilyamoon. He's using his good name and says her issue, even though the hospital says that the patient doesn't exist, issue 100% legit. All right.
No. I agree with you.
Well, yeah. You know, these are great candidates for dumb blink of the year.
And we're gonna have a hell of a competition this year to see who wins. Once we get this all together, so I will be hosting, and we will have many great nominees for the DFO2Y awards. Now I'm not gonna call it the dumb F of the year like they did. We're gonna have it'll be adjusted a little bit once we get it planned, but it'll be at the end of the year, so, or here in a little bit. We still got so much. I've been telling people. I believe when I told everyone that Sean didn't pay landlord, that we had the eviction to show it, that we were at 20 or 25% of the story. And I've told people that with the revealing of ilyamoon's issues, we're at 60% of the story. And I seriously think that there's so much that will come out in the next few months. And the reason is there are people out there who have defended these guys for a long time. And they've been lied to, some guy in the chat right now. Martin, nice try, man. So Martin, go grab a clip, go grab a quote, grab a timestamp from one of my videos, and I will provide you a little wider of what I'm saying there, so that you can't cherry pick as easy. And we'll come back and we'll see who comes out on top. So. You're going to have to go back and re-listen, because actually I've had to re-listen to a few of my videos lately, and they don't say what you and your friends say they say. Trio says, it's been an exciting FraudRaiser King show. The FraudRaiser King, man. I can't wait for the Tiger King FraudRaiser King memes. I can't wait. We can prove a round earth and a fraud moon. Very true. The dumb investigator of the year. That's good.
It seems like it's easier to prove the earth is round than it is to prove this is a scam. It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. But I understand it's tough too, because there's emotions involved, there's friendships involved. This is not easy stuff.
Exactly.
And the evidence but the thing is that the evidence is what it is. I think I think there's two key pieces of evidence here that has to be overcome. I think we have this video of an account, something that only people have seen. But then I think on the backside, we have all this other evidence pointing the opposite direction. So what it all means, who really knows? But I think at the end of the day, if you take this to law enforcement and you say, hey, we got a GoFundMe up there where a person has put this receipt that says, this is where I was, getting treatment at, and now we know that's false. I think there's a GoFundMe problem, and I think that might be a legal problem.
It definitely is. And I do hope Ilya is healthy, happy, and didn't do this. I hope so. Though with the rest of the issues there in this situation and her unwillingness to be honest right now, it doesn't look good. Nate, thanks for coming by, man. It's always nice having you here. Thanks for having
me, brother.
Man,
I'm going to go over Rock a lot, right? I might join you over there too.
Yeah, dude, all you got to do once you see me streaming over there is jump in the staging room. It's right below this room, and I'll pull you in, and you can come and go as you got time anytime we're live over there. So it's always fun to get a few people in talking. So
cool. Thanks again for having me, and thanks for everybody in the chat. you know how this was great as always, and hopefully now everybody has a better understanding of what's actually going on.
Man, yeah, excellent explanation. All right, Nate, we'll see you later, hopefully on Rock a Lot. So, all right, buddy. Make sure you guys, all right, dude. Make sure you subscribe to Nate's channel. The mods have been dropping the link. I want to talk to my live chat more. I haven't seen you guys live over here in a while. And I want to answer questions like the people in the chat that seem to have these insanely specific criticisms for me. I'd love to, you know, play that game. If you'd like, though, I would tell you, if you're going to claim I've said something, you need a clip. I'm sorry. The problem being that a lot of people have lied about what my opinion is and what I state in videos or on Twitter Lives, and they go around and build these narratives and try to tell people what my opinion is or what I say or what I think. So if you want to criticize me, you're not going to get kicked from the chat unless you break the chat rules, and you're more than welcome to. Though I will have to either have an some obvious clip of some kind or whatever. You can't just allege that I've said something that I didn't say. So, though, let's pull up the live chat. Let's see what you guys got. It's a rare occasion to get you over here on UNIRock too. So let's let's play a different song. I've been playing the same song all night, man. So, Busy, do you mind? Do you mind not playing the same song all night? Well, sorry I haven't been arguing with you tonight. It's been a while since I've been live here, man. So play it. Play the song. Thank you. All right. You're not on point tonight, Biz. You're just not on point. So, what are some of the other things that revolve around this story? Unfortunately, tonight's live stream is kind of pigeonholed onto one topic, but it's because it's breaking. These things are kind of just happening. When I came in to talk to everybody yesterday, it was later in the day. And I was just getting caught up on some of the stuff that was going on, especially this receipt that was shared. And as I got into Discord later, to talk to some creators and stuff, I was going to play Tarkov. And this thing was just firing off. I couldn't even play Tarkov. It was just too much going on. Too much to have to look at and think about. I've got a lot I want to say about the Sean Hufford fundraiser with Reds Rhetoric here on this channel live before I head to Rock a Lot. And I do have some stuff I want to say about ilyamoon's fundraiser now. And I'd even like to talk about Bullinator's fundraiser, because what we've realized is that there are 3 fundraisers that are pretty current, that one of them is absolutely fraudulent. And that is Sean's fundraiser. It's fraudulent due to the fact that you don't have to even say alleged. He came out and admitted that I was right, since I came out a year and 3 months ago and told you all that it was a fraudulent fundraiser. He's finally come out and admitted it and left the internet. He just kind of said bye-bye and took off. So that one is just on point. It's right there. You can say, yes, it's been admitted to. The people involved have come out and said, we did this, we kept the money, we didn't pay the landlord, and they've given a million excuses. As you saw in my update video, they talked about how they think that they should be able to burn fundraiser money. So if you're donating to Children's Hospital $1 million, you've collected it all, you should be able to keep it. You should be able to burn it. You should be able to buy a yacht and some hookers, because that's their philosophy when it comes to how to manage or run a fundraiser. And I've got video clips of these guys literally saying that they wish more people felt like that they could just burn the money once they got the money. People like that do not need to be involved with fundraisers, because they're not managing the money that's not theirs appropriately. They've got this thing in their head, and you can tell just by listening to them talk once they get the fundraiser money, they think they can decide what to do with it, that they have a control over it. And unfortunately, it's just not how it works. That's just not true. When you gain fundraiser money, when you're collecting money to give to a charity, to a fundraiser, to help somebody, that money is whatever you're doing with it. If you're going to pay a landlord, it's the landlord's money or the donator's money. So if you don't decide to pay that landlord, then the money belongs back to the donator. It does not belong to you. And thank you, Darth Chaz, for joining this channel, man, because that helps us immensely to make more live streams and videos, dude. You're awesome, Darth Chaz. So my main problem, as you all know, when it comes to what's been going on with this fundraiser, being blown open, a YouTube fundraiser for $10,000, hosted on YouTube, put out to the YouTube community so that anybody that watches the platform could be hooked in and stolen from by definition, by admission. Okay? That right there, if you are a creator that gives a fuck, should piss you off. That should just be like, okay, that's just too much, man. That's just too much. We had problems, if you remember, years ago with another creator named April Lejeune, and April Lejeune was selling government papers that you could make $1 million off of your social security number if you gave her $500 for secret government papers, right? And she collected somewhere around $30,000 or $40,000 by her own co-workers, kids, and other people's admissions. And she ended up fleeing a state and moving and trying to come back and get some more money and then stop. And I don't know what happened with her. I don't remember what the end point was. This is not uncommon. And we covered stuff like this for years. So it's not weird that we bump into these specific people and in the end have to call them out for doing this, because it's just, you know, part of our, it's the type of content that we've done in the past. And the main problem I have with Sean's fundraiser, though, let me stop rambling and get to the point. The fundraiser that Reds Rhetoric and Sean both claimed that they checked Sean's receipts, they checked his lease, they checked his paperwork, and others stated that too. Other friends of theirs stated they checked Sean's paperwork and that he wasn't lying. And I say that that is evidence that they were involved, that they lied for Sean because they didn't check his paperwork and see that he was telling the truth. They saw if they just probably didn't check the paperwork, or they knew all along what they were doing, right? And because of that, and these clips exist, I've played them on Rock a lot recently. We even have clips of them stating that they did this. And for some reason, this community will, as much as they want to claim they're the smartest community, they're better than everybody else, right? They're the best ever when it comes to science, debunking, logic. They don't understand how that admission, him stating that, and then it coming out that Sean's fundraiser is a complete fraudulent fundraiser. And then to see him change his opinion and now defend Sean when he calls out other YouTubers for being frauds and thieves. All of that is evidence, because one thing that they do is convince you that if it's not scientific, if you can't sit down and prove absolutely to no doubt, not even a microscopic speck of doubt, then you can't prove them guilty, which is not true, right? When someone starts withholding, I've said this 2 times, but I'm going to say it again. When someone starts withholding information from you, you must look for consistency in their story. You must look for the people that are gaining from what they're doing. You must look for who they're lying for, who they're persecuting, what are they persecuting for, where are they being hypocritical. All of that forms the evidence for why they're withholding information from you. And it's not an easy science. It's not an easy thing to be street smart combined with whatever other skills and shit. You have to be able, you know, like just social interaction and be good at this shit to be able to see when somebody's scamming you, when somebody's trying to get one over on you. And it's completely different than the type of thing you have to do to prove something scientifically. And that's how they got one over on a scientific community. They said, look, you can't prove that I did that. Well, we've got all this evidence, though. Well, it doesn't prove it, so I'm out of here. And we've heard them state that. So here we are sitting here with these issues with Ilya's fundraiser. And I guess she thought that she'd get the same treatment Sean did. right? I don't know why she'd think that, because with Sean and with people already going to the authorities due to last fundraiser, it's really easy for people to go to the authorities again. It was hard to get people to go to the authorities in the beginning, but now it's like I'm going immediately, especially if you're connected. Ilyamoon is connected to Sean. Sean is connected to her. And Reds Rhetoric is in the middle. Reds was defending Ilya up until just like 40 minutes before the most damning evidence dropped on Ilya's head. Guess what he did? Then he starts in the call acting like he's grilling her and he's going after her, right? And she's playing right along with it. They're not arguing. They're not fighting. She's not surprised that he's acting this way out of the blue. Nah, she's playing right along with it. And that's the same thing he did with Sean. Remember, he checked Sean's paperwork and UNIRock was lying until Sean came out and was just done due to the overwhelming amount of evidence. Then Red starts acting like he's been lied to by Sean, even though he's not mad about it. The people who will not call out Sean, but then think they get to sit there and call out even a flat earther, are such extreme hypocrites that they don't even understand that that is the thing that's affecting their YouTube audience now. It's not me. It's not the people that talked about this. Your audience and the amount of money you get a month, they have talked about losing thousands of dollars a month per creator and all this crazy stuff. That is from you showing your audience that you, one, won't stand up for them. You, two, won't go after people equally. You don't apply your principles across the board. If someone's your friend, they can get away with murder. They can get away with stealing $10,000 from your audience. Like, this dude weaseled his way in front of your audience. What does that audience want? They want you to stand up for him. They want you to get behind them. They don't want you being behind the dude that just ripped them off. Because then they get mad when people out there say, yeah, I believe this person's involved. You're allowed to say that, by the way. There are sock accounts that float around to try to make you feel bad for saying that, you know, this person is involved when they are recorded involved, right? It's a narrative that's built. It's a thing that has to flow out there if they think they can pull one over on everybody. They think we're all that stupid. A year and 3 months ago, they thought we were so stupid that we believed their fundraiser bullshit. We never believed it. We never believed it. Or else we wouldn't be here now showing you everything we've shown you. And no, I'm not talking about Ilya's fundraiser right now. I'm talking about Sean's. So let's talk about Ilya's fundraiser. Why is Ilya's fundraiser so shockingly scary? Why? That she did... that her receipt is fake as fuck and that there's a lot of problems and errors and the way she's acting. Why is that scary? What is the most scariest thing? It is that she took Bullinator's money into her own bank account by Red's own document. We're talking about a person who nobody knows anything about them, right? We don't know shit about her. We don't want to know anything about her. But she took a dead man's money, a dead man's family's money, and instead of cashing it out to the family, she put it in her own fucking bank account and then transferred it to whose bank account? Reds Rhetoric's bank account. Sean ran the PayPal part of Bull's fundraiser, and he took it into his bank account and then deposited it over to Reds. Do you not see a problem here? We've got Sean provably running a fraudulent fundraiser. We've got Ilya now lying about massive things in her fundraiser. And don't worry, because she's leaving the internet and she's going to be gone forever in just a day or two, according to her. This Sean's leaving. Now she's trying to leave. How are we ever going to find out what happened with Bullinator's fundraiser? Save the authorities coming in. Again, they're forcing us to call in the authorities. Bullinator's fundraiser made like over $5,000. They wanted $15,000. Now, why do I say over $5,000? Because we don't know how much money Sean made from that fundraiser. We do not know. There's only two people in this world that know how much money Bullinator's fundraiser made. That's Reds Rhetoric and Sean. You notice how Red's name comes up in every one of these because he runs them. He's part of the group, Sit Down with Debunkers, that runs the majority of these fundraisers we're talking about. So, is Ilya going to be able to come back from this? I don't know, because this is the problem. Nate, the lawyer, is not framing her. He's not, putting her down. He's trying to exonerate her, and she's calling Nate a liar. She's saying she called the same hospital that Nate called, but everything's great there. And she doesn't even say here, like, I called them direct with FTFE and Reds in a hangout, verified myself, and they validated I was a patient. What does that have to do with whether or not you had cancer and then took the money for what you claim to take the money for? My email on file and where to send details. See, right here, this just is another lie. She's not stating that she didn't call them and ask them to verify why they told people she didn't have this cancer procedure or why that people said that she wasn't a patient. So she can magically call and it just happens. But everybody else calls and they say that receipt's fake. The receipt on that GoFundMe's fake. See the problem? Do you see the problem? This is the same thing Sean did, by the way. The same thing Reds did, by the way, to try to defend Sean's fundraiser, saying we're all liars, we're all evil because we ask these questions, even though they ask the same questions about other people's fundraisers, right? The problem is they got caught. So whether they like it or not, now everything is suspect. Sharon, it's exactly true. They got caught. They all lied. None of them came out and apologized to the community for supporting Sean and lying for Sean, telling people that they fact-checked Sean. They all lied. You know that Reds lied when he had Sean on his channel to cry and apologize. You know he lied. I know he lied. Because he banned anybody that brought up that Sean had 9 days left on his lease, not 10 months. So his entire reason for needing $10,000 is completely fraudulent and bunk. And Reds, the man that lied for Sean on his channel, the last time we heard from Sean, is defending Ilya. Him defending her makes her look worse than if she was standing there alone. Fact. Because you do know, if you're watching on this channel, you might not know. There are several people who are provably close to Reds over the last few years that have come forward to several YouTubers to show evidence and to give testimony that Reds has been keeping fundraiser money going back years before the ones we're looking at. Because Reds has done fundraisers going back years and years and years, not just in this little community in the last 3 years where there's over $200,000 and some of fundraiser money requested by a small group of people. Okay, that right there, it literally could go up to 500,000 or $1 million. Because the amount of fundraisers as it goes back, and then you know how Sean met his lover, Cy Strikeling, fell in love with her, right? While he was doing a fraudulent fundraiser to go meet her, she has done fraudulent fundraisers before hooking up with Sean. She did a fundraiser to install something into a van for a handicapped person that never got installed, according to her family members. And I'm not getting into it, but I'm just saying, she is also very much accused of running fraudulent fundraisers. So Reds is provably hanging out on the internet with people, multiple people that have previously been accused of running fraudulent fundraisers and then tucked tail and ran to new communities to get themselves worked in before starting more fundraisers. This is a pattern. It is a pattern. You know it. I know it. Okay? These people don't think they got to get up here on YouTube and earn a dono or a Patreon or whatever. They think they got to tell you a story that always turns out to be riddled with lies, if not lies from the very foundation, where it results in them being a victim and you helping that victimization if you donate money. Now, in that process, in that situation, it would be fine that they get help if they were being honest and if they didn't do it all the time. But just at the base level, the amount of fundraisers that Reds Rhetoric has done, or Sean Hufford has done, or Cy Strikeling has done, and you could pick other of their friends. One of their friends has a $20,000 charity running right now. He's trying to start a charity. No, the fundraiser isn't to give to the charity. It's a charity for veterans, right? So if you donate to his $20,000 fundraiser, you're not giving to veterans. You're paying him to set up a charity. One of Reds' best friends, $20,000 right now. Right now as I speak. Why are all of his buddies running constant fundraisers? It defeats the purpose of charity. It warps it. It perverts it. It turns it into something else. It's not charity anymore once you abuse it. You're conning somebody then. You're using somebody then. At what point would they meet the determination that they're using people instead of running a charity? When everyone who gains from their charity is either themselves or one of their friends. I think that they provably are using people a long time ago. And I think they've been using these tactics and these methods to defend themselves, to lie on criticizers, to attack criticizers. They've been using these methods for a very long time. Some of them will say I've lied about them. Bullshit. They're YouTubers. If they really thought I lied on them, they would be going and pulling clips and putting it into videos and actually maybe doing some content and proving it. Because then I'd be able to debunk them or rebut them or even agree and apologize if I did something wrong. So why do all of them spread all this bullshit about how I'm lying about them when, one, I turn out to be right every time, and two, they will not address it in a video where they actually pull clips and show you what I've said? Because it's bullshit, obviously. And just because I've been trying to be a good person in a way, and I'm trying to hear from people who have lied about me for a year, lied about my criticism, lied about my side, lied about what I've said, tried to turn entire audiences of theirs against me, and that didn't work, but they tried. Why would I allow them to then come to me, apologize to me, and have me kind of like work with them, talk to them, waste my time with them, right? I'm trying to work myself up to the point where I can be a good enough person and try to forgive some of these guys who have done this, and who have pushed these lies about me and tried to play this game just because they didn't like me criticizing their public actions and their fundraisers. The problem is I'm not a good enough person. I'm just not. I failed. I'm failing when it comes to that test. No, I'm not a good enough person to, just bow down to you guys after a year of you lying about this and covering for your friends. But I am a good enough person to make a badass video to show this to the entire platform. I'm at least a good enough person to do that. Now, by the way, that doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to people. It doesn't mean I'm not going to try, right? I'll try. I'm going to try. I don't know why I don't just act like what you guys say I am, though, and tell you to fuck off. Those of you that are trying to come to me, which is several people, I'm not talking to any specific person in general. And if I've messaged you or if somebody's messaged you for me today, ignore this. But for those people that want to sit down and talk to me or apologize or whatever, or come on my show or have me come on their show that relates to this, if they've been lying about me for a year. I'm not saying I won't talk to them. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just telling you, you're not stopping me. Okay? You've earned this. You earned it. You begged me to do a video. When was it, y'all? Oh, I remember. November, right? November of 2019 is when I said, okay, fine. I will cover the versus mode. That's when I caved and said, I'll do a video for you. I can remember months of them trying to prod me into doing a video. But when I said, okay, I'll do the video, I said, I'm going to get to the bottom of everything. I didn't say I'd get to the bottom of one thing. We've fully been able to document the issues in a small community. And then be able to say if you want your community to start growing again, because it was growing at a massive rate before. But when this started to become an issue, you notice that community flatlined and then started to lose people. Why? Because of this. Because you can't, it's weird. I've noticed something about the YouTubers in that group. They think that if somebody says it out loud, if a criticizer says it out loud, then it's their fault that it's happened. But that's not true, because everybody is thinking this. Every smart person, everybody who is, cares enough to go out and look at what's happened and see everything. They know what's going on. They all see it. They're all saying, damn, when is one of these people going to stand up like Team Skeptic did and actually try to stand up for us? And then they saw Team back out of it and they were like, well, shit, we don't have anybody. So who's going to stand up for your community? Because I'm not. That's the one thing they got wrong about me this whole time. I'm not standing up for your community. I left your community. I literally made a video telling everybody I was leaving that community, I think late November of 19. So my point is now, I'm doing this for my audience. I don't care if I only have like 3, 4, 5,000 views a video. I think that's good. I'm doing this for my audience. And somebody like seriously, if you care about your community, I don't even give a shit about talking about the bubble you're in. If you care about the people that watch you as an independent creator, as a creator on your own, right? Like, forget about the people around you. If you really do fucking give a fuck, you probably should stand up for those people the tiniest bit and stop letting yourself be manipulated by Reds Rhetoric. Reds still won't tell you the truth about Sean's fundraiser. He will not come out and apologize on his channel. He won't take responsibility for what he did. I can prove what he did. So, I get it. You guys don't want to say it out loud. It's like Beetlejuice. You feel like if you say it, then soy Beetlejuice is going to appear behind you, screaming and crying behind a keyboard screen or a monitor with a keyboard, typing all these crazy things to you and getting mad at you. Because, of course, soy Beetlejuice is a keyboard warrior, if you didn't get my drift. But in all reality, though, one of you do it when this is my advice to all of you. If you really care about your community, you're gonna have to show it to them, and you're gonna have to stand up to these guys, because you're damned if you don't. You're not damned if you do, but you are damned if you don't. And just to see none of them even, like, they're still trying to offer outs to the people that are conning their community. But then they're wondering why they're experiencing some type of negative thing going on right now. There it is. You've got your why. That's why. I didn't add any conspiracies to any type of legitimate allegation. Again, this is your last chance. Martin, you can either come in here with an actual clip or a timestamp so that I'll play it for you guys and show you what I've actually said and give you what my opinion was, or I'm going to ban you because you're gish galloping, you're sea lioning. You won't meet my burden of pulling a clip showing me where I said what you're trying to claim I said. I never added any conspiracy theories to your friends. I made sure to differentiate between when I had facts and when it was my opinion. Just because you guys are too dumb to be able to follow doesn't mean I did anything wrong there, man. You're going to have to probably clean out your ears, or why don't you just Billy Madison yo ass? Go back to school, learn how to reason and think a little bit, learn how to listen, and then maybe you'll be okay. Someone's telling me, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to have to hit it on the rock a lot. Someone's telling me there's new tweets that I need to look at. There's other stuff I need to see. And a lot of you guys, did you know that when Ilya first started to be criticized days ago, did you know Reds Rhetoric did something? He did something. He privated the video on his channel for the fundraiser for Ilya. And it turns out there's some stuff in there you've got to hear tonight on Rock-A-Lot. Until then, though, we'll be right over to Rock-A-Lot in just a few minutes. Mods have been dropping a link to the channel. You can just search Rock-A-Lot and it'll come up. ROCKALOT, one word. It's a parking lot made out of rocks. So I'll see you there on the after show. I just want to tell you guys, thank you for hanging with me over on UNIRock 2. I miss all of you here. It is now time to start streaming here more often, and I get pretty crazy. when you stay out of this, butt face. I get pretty crazy when I'm streaming. Either way, though, I want to play some video games. I want to, not later on tonight. First, I want to play some videos for you. I want to show you some tweets. Maybe Navy will jump in. Maybe Menace will jump in. Maybe Nate will stop by. Either way, thank you for watching. Ending out 4/30/2021, ending at 11:11 p.m. Thanks for being here. UNIRock Live, hosted on UNIRock 2, after show on the Rock-A-Lot. Peace. UNIRock out.